Hello, my name is Vanessa Shelton, and I'm currently working on a project for SBD 500 with Dr. Lewison at Grand Canyon University. The title of this project is Explaining IDA and the IEP process. When we talk about special education services and IEPs and things of that nature, it is important to understand the process and know the steps that lead to a student receiving special education services. This all starts with a referral. Referrals can come from many different people. This could be a parent, a teacher, a counselor, or even an administrator. A referral usually occurs when someone recognizes that a child has a unique need that are different than those of a typical child their age. It is important to note that this must be a consistent problem or need that a student has. Prior to a referral, there are usual interventions that are in place to identify, develop, and implement alternative education strategies for students who struggle before referring them to special education. This is commonly called a response to intervention, or RTI. After an RTI is implemented, if a child is still struggling, the child may then be referred for a special education evaluation. Following a referral, an evaluation must be done within a timely manner. This evaluation can lead to a student receiving an IEP or sometimes a 504 plan. The purpose of this evaluation is to look for things that might make a child eligible for special education services. This is a service that is done for free by the school. Following evaluations, there will be a determination regarding if a student needs special education services, a 504 plan, or none of the above. To qualify for special education, the student must fall into at least one of 13 categories. This leads us to our next discussion on eligibility. As I mentioned, there are 13 eligibility categories. These include specific learning disabilities, other health impairments, autism spectrum disorder, also known as ASD, emotional disturbance, speech or language impairment, visual impairment including blindness, deafness, hearing impairment, deafblindness, orthopedic impairment, intellectual disabilities, traumatic brain injury, also known as TBI, and other multiple disabilities. To be considered eligible for services, a student must fall into at least one of these categories, and their school performance is advisedly affected because of the disability. Now that we know what the referral process is, how evaluation works, and the eligible criteria, you must be wondering what all an IEP entails. First and foremost, IEP stands for Individual Education Plan. This education plan covers a variety of important information, including the student's present level of education performance, their annual goals, progress reporting, special education services, supplemental aids and services, participation, transitional goals and services, and consent. Each of these components play a part in the makeup of an IEP. It is important to know what level a student is currently at in order to make attainable goals. Along with the goals, it's also necessary for the student's progress to be monitored periodically. Knowing what special education service the child is receiving is also vital information in the process of maintaining an IEP. This can also include other aids and services that a child is receiving. The participation section includes the extent in which the student will be involved in the general education setting and other activities including standardized testing. The consent aspect is where the parent or guardian officially agrees to the plan that is being presented. Now we have covered quite a bit regarding the special education process. A lot of it may seem overwhelming to you as a parent. You may also have questions, which is okay and encouraged. As an educator, we want the parents to be involved in this process. During the development of an IEP, there are many different people involved, and that includes the parent or guardian as well as the student. Many students and parents do not fully understand their importance when it comes to an IEP. After all, the IEP is for the student, so we want to make sure the student and their leading guardians have a voice in this process. Some of the things a parent can do for an IEP is to bring your knowledge about the student that, as an educator, we may not know about. As a parent, you know your child usually better than anyone else does. Along with bringing the useful information to the table, you can also bring the goals and objectives you want your child to obtain. With your help, we can develop specific and attainable goals for our student, as well as a parent during the IEP process, you share your concerns and give insights on how things are going for your child. Most importantly, we want to make sure if you have any questions during the process, you are aware and you ask your questions and feel comfortable doing so. On the other hand, the student also plays an important role in our development of an IEP. They bring us to the table personal insight and what works best for them, their own personal goals, let us know what helps them be successful. Our goal is to make sure our education plan is the right thing for the student, so getting feedback on how it's going for the student is also very important to consider. Implementing an IEP can go many ways. It can go well and have zero issues, or it can need adjustment and changes along the way. The IEP does our best in developing a program that will work best for your child. Sometimes we do not always get it right the first time. Because of all the ins and outs of the IEP process and all that it entails, it's important to keep open lines of communication between you as the parent, me as the teacher, and as well as our administration. Along with the chances we might adjust, I also would like to keep in contact with you about your child's progress and any academic achievements or behavioral concerns. Your child is important to you, and I want you to know that they are also important to me. I want to build a relationship in which we can communicate regularly and when we need regarding your child. I encourage you to reach out with any concerns or questions, as I will do the same on my end. And I hope that this video was educational for you.